Hey, good morning, and today we are going to be talking about absolute value equations. Okay, so many of you already know a little bit about the absolute value. I'm guessing if I search for an absolute value graph, you guys have seen this before. Let's see here. So basically, as x gets bigger, so does y, right? And as it goes negative, it still goes in the positive y direction because our absolute value tells us basically the distance from 0. Okay, so positive 1 is 1 away from 0, negative 1 is also 1 away from 0. Okay, so now as we go, oops, wrong page, there we go. So if we look at this problem to solve, x minus 3 equals 8. We need to think about this. It is 8 away from 0. So 8 away from 0 could be positive 8. 8 away from 0 could also be negative 8. So I will break that into two parts. X minus 3 equals 8. And also x minus 3 equals negative 8. Okay, now we add 3. Add 3, we get x equals 11. Add 3. Add 3, we'll get x equals negative 5. So 11 minus 3 is 8. That works. Negative 5 minus 3 is negative 8. That would also work. So we have our two answers and we're done. Now, example 2 here, same approach, except now our absolute value is not by itself. We need to isolate it before we can solve. So let's get rid of that 2. We can divide this side by 2. That'll cancel. Divide this by 2. We're left with the absolute value of x minus 6 equals 4. Okay. Now at this point, same thing. It's 4 away from 0, so it could be positive 4, as we have there, or I'm going to write it a second time. It could also be negative 4. Oops. And if I write it here, then I guess I can remove those. And now all we have to do is add 6. We'll get x equals 10. Add 6. We'll get x equals 2. Okay, now if we look here, 10, if we plug it in, 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Or 2 minus 6 is negative 4, which becomes 4 when we take the absolute value, times 2 is still 8. All right, question 3 here. To many of you, it might look pretty complex. And it is a little bit difficult because we have multiple absolute values. But you might notice inside of these absolute values is the same thing, x minus 1. So since it's the same thing, we can kind of treat that as one variable. It's like this is, say, that plus sign. This is the plus sign, so we have negative 3 pluses, negative 4 pluses. I can move it over. So if I add over this 4, x minus 1, that'll cancel. Add it over here. And it's not going to cancel here. It's going to be negative 3 plus 4 becomes 1. So 2 plus the absolute value of x minus 1 will equal 7. So we'll subtract 2 from both sides. Have the absolute value of x minus 1 equal to 5. Now I need to split it into two parts. So either x minus 1 will equal 5 or x minus 1 will equal negative 5. Add the 1 over. X will equal 6. Add the 1 over. X will equal negative 4. Now let's make sure that this works because that was a little more complicated. So we take the 6 up here. 6 minus 1 is 5. Times that to negative 3, negative 15. 2 minus 15, negative 13. Okay, over here. 6 minus 1 is also 5. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, plus 7, still negative 13. We could do it with the negative 4 also, but we'll get negative 5, negative 5. But because it's the absolute value, it'll be the same thing, 5, and it will work as well. Okay, our next one. This looks very similar to the first problem we did today, right? The only difference is instead of 8, it is now negative 8. But keep in mind, what did we say about absolute values? If it's an absolute value, we know it tells us how far it is from 0. It's going to be a distance. It's going to be positive. There's no way we can plug in a value here and get a negative answer. So right away, if you have the absolute value equal to a negative, you know your answer is no solution. All All right, and our final one. This gets a little bit more difficult because of the variable on the right side. So 5 minus x will equal both 2x, and 5 minus x will equal negative 2x. We'll add the x here. 5 will equal 3x. We'll divide. So 5/3 is one of our answers. And then on this other one, add the x. 5 would equal negative x. Divide. And x equals negative 5. All right, so now we got to check these, especially when there's a variable over here. You got to double check. Does it work? We can have extraneous solutions just like before. So 5/3, if we plug that in, 5 minus 5/3. Some of you might have difficulty doing that. That's fine. A couple options. You can use a calculator to help you check this, or we can convert. So 5 would actually be 25/5 minus that, or whoops, but I don't want it in fifths. My bad. I want 15/3. Okay, minus 5/3. That would leave us with 10/3. Meanwhile, if I plug that 5/3 in on the right, 2 times 5 be 10/3. So this works. This is a good answer. Now let's check the other one. Negative 5. 5 minus negative 5 is 10. Is minus and minus becomes plus. Absolute value of 10 is 10, but 2 times negative 5 will be negative 10. 10 does not equal negative 10, so this doesn't work. This is what we would call extraneous. Okay, so that's all I got for you today. Go ahead, sign in, do the Delta Math assignment. If you need help, please let me know. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys soon.